Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started.
Hey friends, how's it going? The Singapore Grand Prix has just wrapped up, but the drama isn't over yet. Lewis Hamilton has been summoned by the FIA stewards after allegedly exceeding track limits in the closing laps of the race. Hamilton had been staging a strong recovery drive after switching to soft tires for the final stint. With the fresher rubber, he managed to overtake Charles Leclerc and even began pressuring Mercedes rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli for a spot in the top 5, which would have been Hamilton's best finish since the British Grand Prix back in July. However, in the dying minutes of the race, things started to unravel. Hamilton began suffering from brake issues combined with heavy tire degradation. His pace dropped dramatically, forcing him to give the position back to Leclerc. In the end, Hamilton crossed the line in 7th place, just 0.4 of a second ahead of Fernando Alonso. The dramatic part? He lost nearly 45 seconds on the final lap alone because of those braking problems. Right after the checkered flag, Hamilton's engineer came over the radio to inform him that he was under investigation and could lose that 7th place finish. Hamilton responded, insisting that any penalty would be unfair, arguing that he only went beyond track limits because of the mechanical issues with his car. According to him, it wasn't a matter of gaining an advantage, but simply trying to keep the car under control. For now, the classification remains provisional, as the stewards will hear from Hamilton and analyze the onboard footage, telemetry, and lap data. If a penalty is handed down, Alonso would inherit 7th place, while Hamilton would drop to 8th, another frustrating blow in what has already been a difficult debut season with Ferrari. This moment adds another layer to Hamilton's rocky 2025 campaign. He has yet to score a podium and has often found himself struggling against Charles Leclerc. Today looked like a chance to finally show progress, especially with that late charge on fresh tires. Instead, it might end in more disappointment if the stewards decide against him. The bigger question here is whether the FIA will consider mitigating circumstances. Drivers have been penalized before for exceeding track limits, regardless of car problems. But Hamilton's case is different. It was clearly the braking issue that forced him wide. Will the stewards apply the rulebook strictly, or will they show leniency because of the situation? Whatever the outcome, this investigation highlights how unforgiving Formula One can be. One moment you're charging through the field, and the next you're fighting just to hang on. Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, now finds himself battling for points and hoping for mercy from the officials. So what do you think? Should Hamilton be penalized even though his off-track excursion was caused by brake failure? Or do you believe the FIA should let this one slide, recognizing that he didn't gain an unfair advantage? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Hey my friends, how's it going? Today we're diving into one of the hottest topics of the season, Lewis Hamilton's tough start at Ferrari. After 17 rounds, the 7-time world champion has yet to score a single podium, something almost unthinkable for a driver who spent more than a decade accustomed to fighting at the very top of Formula One. This underwhelming performance has sparked a wave of criticism, and recently, former F1 driver and respected analyst Mark Surer didn't hold back. In an interview, Surer described Hamilton as acting like a spoiled child, pointing out that throughout most of his career, Lewis always had the fastest or one of the fastest cars on the grid, first with McLaren, and then, of course, during Mercedes' dominant years. According to Surer, when Hamilton no longer has the best car at his disposal, his weaknesses become far more apparent. The numbers back up this view. Ferrari currently sits 3rd in the Constructors' Championship with 286 points, just 4 behind Mercedes. Among drivers, Hamilton is only 6th overall with 121 points, while his teammate Charles Leclerc has collected 165. That gap highlights how much Hamilton has struggled to consistently beat Leclerc in his very first season with the Scuderia. Surer went even further, comparing Hamilton directly with Fernando Alonso. He argued that Alonso has always been able to adapt to difficult situations, extracting every bit of performance out of any car, no matter how uncompetitive it was. Hamilton, on the other hand, has looked far less effective when not fighting at the front, despite his experience and past success. It's not the first time Hamilton has been questioned in this way. In recent years, we've already seen George Russell outshine him at Mercedes in certain moments. Now at Ferrari, the challenge is even tougher. Leclerc is not only quick and talented, but also deeply integrated with the team, giving him a natural edge over Hamilton as he learns his way inside the Italian squad. Still, many argue that Hamilton is not the only one at fault. The reality is that Ferrari itself continues to struggle. From questionable strategies to slow pit stops and cars that start strong but fade as races go on, the team has failed to provide a consistently competitive package. Even for a driver as decorated as Hamilton, shining under these circumstances is a monumental task. Another factor worth mentioning is the process of adaptation. After spending so many years with one team, transitioning to Ferrari is more than just learning how to handle a new car. It involves adjusting to a different culture, a new way of working with engineers, and dealing with the immense pressure that comes with driving for the most famous team in motorsport. The Ferrari badge carries a weight unlike anything else in F1, with constant media attention and fan expectations that can shake even the strongest drivers. The truth is, with a name like Hamilton, the scrutiny is always immense. Every missed podium becomes a headline, every small error is amplified, and every comparison with Leclerc, or with rivals in other teams, fuels the narrative that his glory days are behind him. But if history has shown us anything, it's that Lewis Hamilton thrives on challenges. Whether he can rise to this one remains to be seen, but this might just be one of the biggest tests of his entire career.
Hey friends, how's it going? We've got some drama, or at least what looked like drama, inside McLaren after the Singapore Grand Prix. Right after the race, cameras caught a moment that quickly went viral. Oscar Piastri apparently disconnecting the team radio while CEO Zak Brown was congratulating everyone on securing the Constructors' Championship. In the footage, Zak Brown can be heard thanking the drivers and crew for their hard work and celebrating the achievement. But before he could even finish his message, Piastri's radio cut out. To make matters worse, Piastri was also absent from the team's podium celebration after the race. That double incident immediately sparked speculation across the paddock and on social media. Was Piastri upset? Was there tension between him, Norris, and McLaren's leadership? During the race itself, Piastri had shown clear frustration over certain strategy calls, especially when battling his teammate, Lando Norris. So, at first glance, his silence after the race and absence from the podium festivities seemed like a sign of dissatisfaction or even disrespect. But as often happens in Formula One, not everything is what it looks like. McLaren leader clarified the situation to motorsport.com. According to the team, Piastri didn't actually cut off Zak Brown mid-sentence. What happened is that by the time Brown's message came through, Piastri had already switched off the car in Parc Fermé, which automatically disabled his radio. In other words, he never heard the message in the first place. It wasn't a snub, just a timing issue. The team also explained why Piastri wasn't seen celebrating on the podium with Norris and the crew. The reason was tied to Formula One's official schedule. After every race, drivers are immediately directed to the media pen for mandatory interviews with broadcasters. While Norris was already near the podium because of his third-place finish, Piastri was still locked into his media obligations. McLaren emphasized that the post-race podium gathering was meant for engineers and mechanics only, but since Norris happened to be there, it gave the impression that Piastri was excluded. To clear the air and stop the rumor mill, McLaren later organized an official team photo in the pit lane, with both Piastri and Norris celebrating together as usual. This was their way of showing that despite some tense radio moments during the race, there is no rift inside the team. Right now, the focus returns to the Drivers' Championship fight, where Piastri remains in the lead with a 22-point advantage over Lando Norris. The team insists that both drivers and management are aligned, and the so-called radio drama was nothing more than a misunderstanding. But now I want to hear from you. Do you believe McLaren's explanation and think this was all just bad timing? Or do you suspect there might still be some hidden frustration from Piastri? And most importantly, who do you think will come out on top in this McLaren title fight? Piastri or Norris? Drop your thoughts in the